Live from the CBS Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, this is CBS 2 News at 11 p.m.
A peculiar pursuit as an ambulance leads the CHP on a wild ride. Definitely not something you see every day.
Yeah, that's right. Instead of heading to the hospital, the patient turned accused ambulance jacker is now heading to jail. CBS 2 Christy Fajardo, she's live in Lake Elsinore to explain this bizarre chain of events. What a story, Christy.
It is quite a story, and there's another twist. Deputies say right after the ambulance jacking, they got a call that the man was at an Arco buying cigarettes. Was it him? Well, they don't really know. They say they sent deputies out there, but could not confirm the man that witnesses saw there was their suspect. What we do know, however, is that thousands of people would have seen him on the 15 freeway during that long pursuit. The chase ended after about an hour and a half with the shirtless man leaving the ambulance on the 15 freeway in Hesperia and running off. Officers arrested him when he finally laid down in the dirt and surrendered. This intersection in Lake Elsinore is where it all started, just after 3:30. The Riverside County Sheriff's Department says 2 paramedics were transferring the patient when he broke free of his restraints. One paramedic saw her partner in the back struggling with the suspect and pulled off the 15 at Lake to help. The paramedics got off, the patient got the keys and drove off northbound on the 15, leading the CHP on a wild chase. The ambulance belongs to this company, Mission Ambulance, out of Corona. They aren't commenting, but earlier told the San Bernardino Sun the man had been picked up at Inland Valley Medical Center in Wildomar and scuffled with the paramedics. One even suffered a cut to her hand. The CHP took the man into custody. We have been calling them all night but have not heard back. We were hoping to learn the man's name, his age, and also why he was getting medical attention in the first place. Live in Lake Elsinore, Christy Fajardo, CBS 2 News.
What a story. Christy, thank you. We have some more breaking news for you. Sky 2 is over a water line break in Beverly Hills that could affect your morning commutes.
Desmond Shaw is live over the scene. Desmond.
Yeah, this is a cooperative effort between Beverly Hills, LADWP, and the Metropolitan Water District on Sunset Boulevard at Rexford. Between here and Alpine, you see eastbound Sunset is shut down and westbound is down to 1 lane, and this threatens to last into the morning commute because they're actually having trouble finding, first they're still trying to track down where the leak is taking place, and then they have to determine who the pipe belongs to. That's why all 3 of these agencies are involved right now, but apparently there's been a lot of water lost regarding this incident, so the city of Beverly Hills has been asking residents to not water any of their landscaping for the next 7 days, and they may have to expand some rations as well once they actually get a handle on this. So we're going to learn more about this tomorrow morning, but they've had to dip into local reservoirs, and that's why they're really asking people to conserve water across Beverly Hills right now. Live in Sky 2 overhead, I'm Desmond Shaw, and we'll send it back to you down the studio.
All right, Desmond, thank you for that update. In Thousand Oaks, the massive memorial to the victims of the borderline shooting has been dismantled and moved off the street. CBS 2's Lori Parrish, she is live in Thousand Oaks to tell us why. Good evening, Lori.
Good evening, Chris. This is a beautiful spot, this walkway behind me now lined with the many, many tributes to the victims. Potted flowers and signs, wreaths, candles, pictures, hundreds of loving tributes to the 12 victims. Now in this peaceful, I would say, sacred spot, because this celebration of life is really just steps away from the front of the Borderline Bar and Grill. We do have some video from earlier today as volunteers and city workers work together to move all of this here from the corner just down the street. As you can imagine, it has been a gathering place for thousands of people to mourn and remember, but that corner really wasn't a safe spot. The crowds were on the side of and sometimes right in the middle of the busy road. Tonight we spoke to people stopping by the new location. They say having a memorial to visit is certainly very emotional, but also necessary.
It's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, but it's just heartbreaking.
So I bring my boys here. I have 3 boys myself, and I brought them all here just to show them that, you know, we do stay strong, we stick together. Bad things happen, but we all come together and, you know, try to stay strong.
And the city says it will work on finding a permanent location for the memorial in the weeks to come. We are live in Thousand Oaks tonight. I'm Lori Perez, CBS 2 News.
Lori, thank you. The man accused of murder for the death of a Trader Joe's worker is expected in court tomorrow for the first time since he said he wanted to act as his own attorney. Gene Atkins will be arraigned in downtown L.A., not only for the death of Melly Corrado, but also on charges he shot his grandmother and girlfriend. L.A. police were chasing Atkins in July when he ran into the Silver Lake Trader Joe's. Corrado got caught in the crossfire and was killed by a police officer's bullet. If convicted, Atkins could get several life sentences.
Noah Posner, 6.
Anna N. Marquez Green, 6.
Tonight in Valley Village, local gun reform advocates mark the 6-year anniversary of the Sandy Hook shooting by reading the names of the victims. There was also a special memorial. It was a line of shoes representing each victim. Activists say they want the laws changed to prevent future gun violence.
You know that there was a victim, that this represents a victim, somebody's loved one, somebody's family member who was taken because of gun violence.
I have 7 and 10-year-old boys. I hate that they have active shooter drills at their school. They shouldn't know about these things. I want to protect them.
Organizers say there were just 2 active chapters of Moms Demand Change in Los Angeles last year, but now there are 8.
Police say speed played a role in a deadly crash in Hyde Park. Now take a look. This car lost control on the 6600 block of South Crenshaw Boulevard after hitting a fire hydrant and also a light pole. Well, it slammed into a building. Both the driver and his female passenger died. People who live nearby say this roadway is pretty bad.
It's not a comfortable ride. It's very uncomfortable.
Pretty rough, and we drive a Jeep, and so we still feel very strong movements, and it pulls, it's unlevel. There's several factors that could highly affect a car.
Police say both victims were not wearing their seatbelts.
Well, it could soon be harder to get to a popular hiking trail.
Yeah, LA City Council voted to restrict access to cars around the Fryman Canyon Trail. CBS 2's Brittney Hopper, she's live at the 3-mile loop trail in Studio City, which offers hikers big views, but it's also parking headaches as well. Brittney.
That's right, Chris and Rachel. The biggest problem that residents tell us they have is that when the parking lot gets full, well, a lot of people park here in their neighborhoods, but soon they won't be able to do that.
It'll be really unfortunate.
The Weisenfelds have been married for 39 years, and for years they've hiked at Fryman Park in Studio City once a week. They say the small parking lot can fill up quickly, so many people park in the residential neighborhoods to take in the beautiful scenery the hike has to offer. But not for long. On Tuesday, the LA City Council approved restricted residential parking zones to weed out those who don't live in the area.
Makes me really sad. It's gonna make us think twice about coming over here. We'll probably go to other hiking trails.
Non-resident drivers will not be able to park on more than 24 streets. Many homeowners say this will help the already congested area. Tom Vanas had more than 80 signatures from his neighbors wanting stricter parking rules.
I mean, if it's raining or 115, no, we don't have a lot of hikers. But if the weather's nice, and it's nice a lot, sometimes it's difficult.
Still, not all homeowners think it's a good idea.
I think we don't encourage people to exercise, and it's a lovely place to exercise.
Now we're told this is all expected to happen sometime next year. We are live tonight in Studio City. Brittney Hopper, CBS 2 News.
All right, Brittney, thank you. Today, LA County hosted another town hall meeting in Malibu to help people recovering from the Woolsey fire. Officials from several agencies were there, along with dozens of residents. People were urged to follow evacuation warnings whenever the next major storm hits.
While it's great that we're seeing rain, and I can tell you that we are predicting a normal rain year this year, that means we are going to expect to have many vulnerable people potentially have to move out of their homes.
Also tonight, authorities say the deadline to sign up for LA County's free fire debris removal program has been extended to January 28.
All right, a decision is in. Will California tax your text messages? Find out coming up.
Plus, government shutdown, showdown. Can the White House and Congress reach a deal in time?
Also, millions of parents are still supporting their adult children. How to give them the boost that they need to get out on their own.
And double trouble when a volcano erupts twice. Just look at this video.
And we're also tracking rain right now. There's a system to the north of us really bringing rain over to the central coast, but could it make its way down to our area? Details ahead.